shake your head, pick your nose.
Did.
But you can't pick your friends.
No, can't. You have ex-wives and ex-girlfriends pick your friends for you, and then they leave, and we stick around.
It worked out all right, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get this show on the road.
Yeah, let's do this.
And welcome, bienvenidos, buenos dias, to all you dogmatic devil dogs. This is episode 29 of the Geekoid podcast, and we are so excited to have you here. We have a lot to talk about. Everything from the Google Apple phone battle really kicking into high gear. We've got Gamescom. We've got probably some movie stuff to talk about. And then we got all sorts of Apple rumors coming up. Like, holy moly. Any place you want to kick this off, or just want to dig right into Google?
Yeah, well, I got three things.
Three different things than what I had?
Yeah, I did send them to you in a text message. So.
Okay, well, I never saw them. So this is, again, Geekoid Unscripted.
You know the company Funko?
Funko, famous for Funko Pop.
Yeah, and then
these guys right here.
Yeah,
they're bobbleheads.
Well, yeah, that's one. I think
and this guy.
That guy. That cute Sour Patch Kid. That's right. Never
was
forget.
Right here on my desk.
Never forgive. Never forget. Dr. Pepper. So Funko, which, you know what, be honest, my wife and I have more than should be allowed for any human being to have.
If you're listening to this podcast at this point, you probably know what Funko is.
Okay. Funko makes these little dolls that have big heads. Some would call them chibi. I call them Funko Pops. They also do Loungefly, backpacks and bags. They also do, they used to do board games, and they did a pretty good job for about 5-6 years. Well, gosh, oh golly, I don't know what's going on, but board game side of that is done, finito. Probably has been for a couple of years, but here I am now talking about it. The big one is as of August 8th, Funko has lost $41 million in a brutal quarter, 28% U.S. sales decline.
Which is absolutely mind-blowing. Like, I didn't realize they had sales that were even reaching that point.
Oh, yeah. Dude, you are not in the Funko verse, bro.
I am not in the Funko, no.
No, and those Loungeflies, those backpacks are very expensive. I even carry a handbag that Katie bought for work. I look real stylish, and she paid stylish money for it.
Stylish money.
So Funko reported a loss of $41 million on a 28% U.S. sales decline and a quote-unquote brutal second quarter, which it attributed primarily to the impact of U.S. Import taxes. However,
AKA tariffs?
Some would say, allegedly, they declined from $163 million in Q2 of 2024 to $117.9 million in Q2 of 25.
Holy moly, that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. So as a whole, has the company said where they're headed next? I mean, they must have given some sort of guidance after that earnings report. I mean, they're not thrown in the towel, I imagine. Like, they're still a solvent business.
No. Even like this was, I think U.S. sales decline for all territories around the world was a 22% from $247.7 million to $193.5 million in the year ago.
Wow.
Sales in Europe and other countries only down 4%.
I
So
wonder if like
they're fine.
yeah, but I'm wondering in terms of like macro trends, just total global economic slowdown, if that's what's happening, if just people are aging out of Funko Pop dolls, like maybe Gen
I think
Z, Gen
there's
Alpha is just not as
yeah.
interested.
I think there's a new, and I can't remember what they are now. I'll tell Eric later. He can put it in the show notes. But there's another type of Ave and type of Ave doll. There's a type of doll called Lucado. I don't know. They're very ugly looking, but they are like all the hit right now, and they're ugly.
I mean, that's on par for the course. I mean, have you seen what I mean, college is just kicking off right now. Have you seen what they're wearing around college campuses? They're wearing like granny
No,
pants
thank you for
and
asking.
high crew socks, and I just don't understand the styles. Like it's just I feel old.
Granny pants, like they're up to their like
Like bell
boobies
bottoms and like high waisted jeans and like I,
and tube
I grew
socks,
up in the days of Britney
like
Spears.
Boston Celtics tube socks.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just I don't understand what's happening. I guess history just repeats itself, and we're just going
L-
through different
By the
fashion
way,
cycles.
let's also remember during the you just called out Britney Spears. That's also the era of having tattoos right above your for people right above the back area, right above your pants,
You're
or
talking
when
about
you
tramp stamps. Let's just call them what they are.
oh my I mean you say what you want to say. So also, maybe not all the greatest stuff.
Yeah. But this is not a fashion podcast. This is a
That's right. This is a geek podcast.
exactly nerd stuff and technology. So what else do you got for me aside from Funko Pop just totally crashing?
Slowly moving over. I don't know if we talked about it, but Nintendo increased the price of not the Switch 2, but the Switch 1 that came out 8 years ago. We already
You know
talked about the
why?
other accessories. Oh, go shoot me in the foot and tell me
Sorry, did you
Pancho
want to
Villa.
explain it?
No.
Okay. I mean, here's the thing. They want to drive growth for the Switch 2. They want to get everybody transitioned from Switch 1 to Switch 2.
Mhm.
And the cost of Switch 1 is increasing because of tariffs. And so they're saying, let's just hike up the price. Let's not hike up the price on the Switch 2,
I agree with that part.
bite the bullet, and keep the price the same. And then you're just going to get everybody who might have bought a Switch 1 just say, ah, screw it. I'm buying a Switch 2. And then you just sunset the Switch 1. You don't even have to worry about manufacturing or anything anymore. All the developers can target one platform, and it will be the fastest platform switch probably in history. Just boom, like a light switch, flip flop, boom.
This is the first year. This is a slight transition, but it correlates and rolls with what we're talking about, rolls with the punches, folks. That when you buy these new consoles, even 8 years ago, it's now an investment. It's never been like that. And the entire time that I've ever been a gamer or into video games or even like remotely interested in just listening to Eric spew nonsense for hours at a time. Diet Dr. Pepper. Xbox also increased their prices. We talked about another episode. Please go back to that. Eric does great show notes and check those out. PlayStation did a sale and we talked about that and we were like, oh, look at Sony. Check them out. Well, not no mo. PlayStation 5 price changes in the US. New prices will be effective starting August 21st. And time stamping our podcast, this is being recorded August 27th. So,
You have to time travel if you want a PlayStation at before cost.
the updated recommended retail price for PlayStation 5 consoles is thus PlayStation 5, which came out 6 years ago. Now, 500 and let's just say it, $550. PlayStation 5 digital edition that doesn't have disc, folks. No drive. $500. And the new PlayStation 5 Pro has gone up to $700. $750.
Are you joking me? 750.
Are you joking me? Are you joking me?
That's absolutely insane. Like it is a 50% increase over the digital version. That is a huge jump. And here's a fun fact for those listening at home and playing along. You can play all the same games. And if you really care about that level of digital fidelity, I'm going to have to tell you, it'd be better to just get a PC.
It's getting to that point.
Because here's the thing. Almost every Sony PlayStation exclusive is now coming to PC. So
this might be a segue or not, but even Indiana Jones is coming to the Switch too. I don't know how that's going to work or how it's going to perform. But it's an Xbox title that then went to Sony and a PlayStation, and now it's coming to Switch too. So yeah, folks, just get a PC. Or, you know what? Be like me, be like Mike, and that ages me, and get a Switch too.
Even I didn't get that.
Oh, it's so sad. I'll tell you off. I'll tell you off air. Big baby. But Switch 2, it's the only one that's going to have exclusives. It's it. That's it.
It's going to have exclusives, but it's also going to have all the other games from all the other platforms.
To compare,
mostly.
Just to compare Sony's $750, $750, folks, for a PlayStation 5 Pro. Big bad boy for Xbox was the Xbox Series X 2 terabyte model. Galaxy Special Edition. I don't know what the Galaxy, we said that in the last episode, whenever we said that. But that did the same price jump. They were both $600. This one jumped up to $730. PlayStation just ripped the Band-Aid off and went straight to $750.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft is throwing in the towel. PlayStation is acknowledging that they've won. They're hiking the prices, and Microsoft is just laying off people from the Xbox division, which happened weeks ago. So
again, I say investment. You buy a Switch 1, then it's now worth a lot of money. You buy a Switch 2 now, it will be worth a lot of money. You buy a PlayStation, you have bought a PlayStation 5. Some of us have. Eric. It's now going to be worth more money. Weird.
You know what? It fits my living room decor. That's why I had to get it.
That is a weird, expensive. Listen,
hey,
I bought a lot
we
of
needed
things,
a Blu-ray player. Our previous one was black. We have white decor. I needed a white Blu-ray player. That's how I sold it to
You didn't
Rachel.
go far enough in the Stormtrooper decor, though, and so I am very upset with you. And I think Rachel could find some really cool Stormtrooper-esque decor and not make it look. Anybody want to do the Imperial theme song?
Bum, 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 ba-da, bum, ba-da.
Anybody else?
I really got to get my my Steam Deck just configured so I could just have it on cue.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm done on my side.
Yeah.
Though,
so
I know the
bottom
Apple side,
line, game consoles are getting more expensive.
They are, whether we like it or not, and even depending.
I don't think it has to do anything with that. Like, no one likes it.
No, I mean, you and everybody can say like, oh, well, you know what? You show by with your dollar, and if you don't like it, don't buy it. But if you want it, that's your only choice.
Yeah.
Well, unless you get a PC or get a Mac, a spec'd out Mac Mini at this point. A Mac Mini spec'd out is cheaper in the long run. That's a side note.
Yeah.
Come on. But we were talking about that.
We'll see what happens with Apple in the next few weeks. We'll get to that at some point. But first,
exciting.
I want to talk about Google and shots fired in the smartphone war.
You say that, but they also have a contract with Apple.
Yeah, but so I'm going to break that down for you and tell you why.
I'm going to say it's a win-win for Google.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is. Ooh, man, so charged.
Getting ahead of ourselves. All right, bring it back.
You're bearing the lead. All right. So last week, Google in their Make press release, press conference, whatever.
It's a dumb name.
On one hand, you have Apple that is super scripted, super polished, and starting to feel old timey and old fogey esque. And then you have Apple that is just like so raw and weird DJ stuff and weird generative AI. And like they couldn't be farther from each other. Um, so I don't know how I feel about it because I feel like I'm stuck in between generations as a millennial, and I don't know which one to gravitate towards, and it's all sorts of I don't know, head confusing. Anyway, they announced the Pixel 10 and the Pixel 10 Pro, and yeah, they highlighted a ton of awesome features, incredible camera stuff, like a 50x or 20x like super zoom lens that
Digital.
blows. I,
That's a lot of
it's
equipment and
it's a lot
lens.
of X's.
Yeah, it's not pure like a real lens
Yeah,
because
but
that's hard to put into a thin slab of glass.
yeah,
But
but now they also have their own official MagSafe competitor, so it's good to see them actually with parity. But the biggest thing that came out of all
whatever
the
Apple
announcements,
creates, they will imitate.
well, yeah, of course, why wouldn't you? But the biggest thing that came out of it is really uh, how they're integrating AI into the phone. So they're shipping the phone with the brand new Google Tensor G5, which is their like state of the art mobile processor, but also like AI focused chip. Basically,
Is
they're
it?
giving everybody Gemini included with the phone. And
Is
it's
that
like,
proprietary?
what, Gemini?
No, no, they're Tensor Baka Baka
Yeah,
Baka
the
Baka.
Tensor G5. It's effectively their version of Apple's A5 or
A
A19 or A20 or
A19.
whatever. Yeah. If you're serious about hardware, you're designing your own chips at this point. That's the bottom line.
Again, Apple creates it, and other people just fucking, repeat it.
Well, I don't think Google is copying their chips at all. I mean, they're like,
Don't copy,
unless.
but copy the idea. Everybody got rid of the headphone jack, and then everybody.
Oh my God, the idea of creating your own chip is precedes Apple. So let's not even give Apple credit. Tim Cook is a supply chain genius, and he was like, you know what, we should own the entire supply chain, including chips, and that's what they did, and it panned out for them. So
Steve Jobs started first and said, "Crossroads. We are both. We are hardware and we are software."
yeah, so there's a few cool things that they showcased during the keynote. It's basically you turn on the camera and in live view, you can show it at stuff and you can talk to the phone and you can have a back and forth chat around what's around you.
That's
Like,
crazy.
yeah.
That's
Like you walk down
that's
the grocery
crazy.
aisle, you pointed at some zucchini and you're like, are these zucchini fresh enough for me to use for such and such a recipe? And I'd be like, no, I don't think so. Or yeah, you could totally use it in that bouillabaisse or whatever. And then like just you can ask it to search for a location where you and a specified number of people want to have any list of number of specific dishes, and it'll go out, search for restaurants, give you a bunch of options based on your dishes, not even your food selection, and then say, hey, I can make you a reservation. Do you want me to make you a reservation? And it'll do it for you. Us millennials, we don't like picking up the phone. This is a huge selling point.
Yeah, millennials are maybe the most introvert of all introverts. There's been introverts throughout millennia, but millennials, if I don't have to talk to you, I would rather not.
Yeah, facts. That's why we haven't had a repairman out to look at our dishwasher yet, even though it's
Oh,
been
man.
on the fritz for a few months.
Side note, Open Table for Gen Con was one of the most amazing things. You've got 70 to 80, 70 people were able to like get into the exhibitor hall, but you had 80,000 people who were there, whether they were able to get into the exhibitor hall or not. So you have a plethora of restaurants and pubs and eateries around downtown Indy. But if you just walk in or if you try to call, it's forever a heartache. And then I use the Open Table app and I was able to, well, I wasn't, but a friend of mine, uh, Samantha, shout out if she listens. Hopefully she will. We got Harry and Izzy's, and I got, St. Elmo's shrimp and cocktail sauce. So open table for the win. So if Gemini can do stuff like that, yeah, baby.
So I'm queuing up a demo right now. That's kind of it. This is something that came after the original Pixel announcement. So
turn down the turn down the bass, turn down the volume.
There's no sound, so you'll be fine.
Just for us to comment over, because I like that
Yes.
director's cut kind of stuff.
So I'm
Commentary.
just queuing everything up right now. I should not have opened that up in Photoshop because that's just okay.
Yeah, that's not going to work. What are you doing?
All right. Now my computer's like, oh my God, I have to get to work. Let's see, entire screen. There we go. All right. So this is a photo of us at Nine Irish Brothers from God knows how many years ago.
2000, let's say somewhere between 2007 to 2009.
It was after 2007. I would say I didn't get back to Purdue until 2009, so it's after 2009.
Okay, 2009 to 2010.
Yes, I think that's a very accurate era. And it was probably taken on like a pre-iPhone, like a LG chocolate something or other would be my guess.
It might have been an iPhone.
It might have been the iPhone 1. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
it might not be the very cute blocky plastic one that first came out. It might have been on an iPhone 4.
So what I'm doing now is I'm uploading that same file, and I am asking Gemini, add a monkey to
the photo?
each person's shoulder. And we're going to see how well it does. Because what I've heard is that this Nano Banana, that was the code name for this new image generation model, is
whoa,
pretty dope.
Whoa. Not only that, the monkeys they're close, but
it's not perfect,
different. It's not bad.
I mean,
even the monkeys are different.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, this is a really terrible photo with really bad pixelation, low lighting, taken at night, and
you know what you should do,
best.
dude? You know what you should do? For this one episode, instead of having our logo with the marquee lights and all that, you make it this, and then you put somehow like either Geekoid over it or Geekoid under it, episode whatever.
I've been trying to figure that out.
Monkey business.
Oh God, monkey business is the title. I like that already. I honestly, our hosting platform right now doesn't give me a lot of good options for adjusting that, so we might have to migrate. Yeah, bunch of jerks. So yeah, that's just in a few seconds. You just tell it how to edit the photo, and all the other demos that I've seen have been going incredibly well. And it's basically not even just a shot at Apple, but even a shot at Photoshop and photo editing and things in general. Like, it is really, really good.
To remind audiences, we talked about, what's their video that's really expensive right now to VO3. So this correlates very heavily, I think, with their VO3 just in photo form. That's really impressive.
Yeah. So, I mean, Google is absolutely state of the art when it comes to now video and image production or image editing. I wouldn't say that they're at the forefront of raw text to image. I still think Midjourney has a leg up. I think Facebook just signed $100 million deal with Midjourney to use their stuff because Facebook was like, we can't cut it. Our shit sucks. And they signed that deal, even though they've been sued by Midjourney has been sued by Universal and Disney.
Okay, we've got to take just a couple minutes to talk about who Midjourney is, what they do, and why they might have gotten sued.
So Midjourney is one of the original text-to-image, I guess, generation companies, foundational models, if you will. And they started as 2 or 3 people. I think they're up to maybe 17 people now.
It's
And
very
that's,
small.
yeah, that 17-person company now generates $300 million a year in revenue.
My God, dude.
Yeah, we're in the wrong business, clearly.
No joke. And how do you only have 17 employees and you can, like, what are their paychecks?
Not as much as they probably should be, but I really hope all of them have equity in the company so that when they sell or get acquired, I mean, they're all going to be millionaires at the end of the day. Let's face it. But here's the thing: like this is one of the long-standing issues with generative AI is you train on all these data sets. You train on images of Darth Vader. You train on images of the Ninja Turtles. And now you have this tool that you can say, generate an image of Darth Vader cutting down some Ninja Turtles. And Midjourney, in theory, will do that. And so Disney was like, you're using our IP to create new stuff, and that's effectively stealing from us. It is copyright violation. So Disney Universal teamed up and have filed this lawsuit. It's probably going to take us a few years to get through all the litigation. Maybe they'll settle, but there have already been some lawsuits that have said training on copyrighted IP is completely legal. The question now comes to the output and how you control the output of those AI models.
It's very similar in the
So,
board game industry. So if you have a mechanism, dominoes was invented by certain people. However, the mechanism of using dominoes in a certain way, like Mexican trains, is the one that I'm talking about. That style, that mechanism of using that is not, you can always be, at least honored and have it somewhere in on the box or on the tin or in the rule book. But sorry, folks, like, and that's very similar. You do deck building. Somebody invented deck building. However, deck building is a mechanism that anybody can use.
so it's to be seen how this is going to play out. Obviously, Facebook has faith in Midjourney if they're going to sign a multi-year deal worth hundreds of millions of dollars,
Or multi-tier.
or multi-tier deal, dear teal. But yeah,
Did anything else come out from the Google Make, the Google keynote, folks?
I would say I'm probably not recapping it as well as I could have. There's a ton of stuff, but you really get into nuance on how it responds to your queries. And they're really promising like transformative updates every few months. And they really took a lot of shots at Apple saying, oh, you wanted AI? Well, we're actually going to deliver on it, not just promise it, and then you have to wait for it. Like we're going to deliver on the AI features. And I think that's where we get back to Apple signing a deal with Google to use Gemini as a backing for Siri.
There's that transition. So right now, Apple has Safari. However, everyone uses Google.
By Safari,
as
you mean
their-
Siri?
No, well, I'm meaning, so go back, roll it back a little bit. So on your iPhone, you use Safari. Safari is using Google to generate your browser type stuff. So they've already
you're
been
talking about your default search.
Yeah.
Okay.
For your browser.
Even if you're not using Safari, if you have
device.
Edge or Chrome as your default browser, there's still a different pathway for search in general. And if it needs to go to the web, that default search still goes to Google. So it is independent of the browser. I just wanted to call that out.
Yeah, and I think it adds to that. Yes, and so with them struggle busing right now, and they're using Chat GPT on, like, a side note. I think it sounds like they're just going to use Gemini just the same as they're already using Google browser search, Google. So until they get their ducks in a row.
Which I will comment. There have been another 2 high-level departures from Apple AI going to other places. Like, it's just a mass exodus of AI talent from Apple. So I don't know how
Well,
there's
how do you compare? How do you combat the amount of money that uh, Google and Facebook are just throwing out there to people? I mean,
well,
we talked
here's
about
the
it
thing.
again. Listen, folks, we talked about this in another episode, so I'm going to say it. Go listen to the other episodes. Millions of dollars to these people to be like, join us.
Billions.
My God,
But no, Meta's actually, they've done a hiring freeze now.
because they went shit too much.
I don't know if it's the board members. They're like, you went a little crazy since our last board meeting. We're going to
Slow
put
down.
put the ixnay on the hire say. So no more hiring at Meta. But they were able to steal enough talent to rock the boat across the entire tech industry. So but still, Apple, as secretive as they are, I think it's hurting them right now because everybody else is, I wouldn't say building in public, but everybody else is really just kind of showcasing what they're working on and showing their model developments and like this, and this. And then Apple's like, hey guys, we got this one model and it creates these really cool Genmojis. And
Yeah.
that's really all they have to show for themselves. And so now they're pivoting and they're saying, Google, can we use Gemini as the backing for the new Siri? And when you're a major tech company that is relying on another major tech company for the underlying infrastructure of all of your products, whether it be your iPhone, your HomePod, your watch, like that is a very precarious position to be in. And on top of all this, Elon Musk has sued Apple this past week for not
For
allowing
what?
XAI to enter the conversation and saying OpenAI has had preferential treatment on the App Store and that it is monopolistic and that they can't get any traction, that they've tried to engage Apple to be used as a substitute for OpenAI's ChatGPT, blah, 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 blah. It sounds like a lot of whining. It might have
It
some
is.
merit. It's probably going to take years for the courts to figure out. But we're in this really, really weird state right now where everything is overlapping. It's just wild.
I do remember
Every
this.
week there's
So
major
one
headlines.
of the things, so he was talking that ChatGPT was, if you go into, if you any of you audiences that have an iPhone, iPad, whatever, even Mac, because ecosystem, if you go into the App Store and you look up AI apps that you can pull up, Chat GPT, Chat is first. um, and so he was arguing that going into that app store, you don't find his XAI. I don't know if that holds as much merit.
So here's why I don't think it does. And like XAI, aka, well, let's just call their product Grok because that's what it's known as. I think that's what it's listed as in the App Store. They have 1/10 the number of users as OpenAI's ChatGPT. And if you look at how Apple does rankings in the App Store, it has to do with usage, it has to do with adoption, and there's no way they're going to rank anywhere near OpenAI. So, that's pretty straightforward. Also, the argument that they weren't allowed to be the back end for Apple Siri. Well, Apple is a company and they're allowed to make financial decisions. I've heard the argument that you should be able to choose whatever AI you want to use as the backing for Siri. Well, guess what? The end user is not paying the AI bill. It's Apple. They have that decision to make. So, at the end of the day, it's a financial decision, and if they don't want to consider XAI for a number of reasons, mostly because Elon is being hostile to Apple, then they're within their privy to do so. So I I think Apple's on pretty good grounds here, but we'll see. I haven't read the legal brief. I don't know that much about the law. I fought the law and the law won
Yeah.
a few times. But
You more than me.
here's the thing.
Actually,
Apple
I won. Anyway, go. What?
yeah, we're just gonna gloss over that. Apple has the opportunity to fire their own salvos back at Google, back at the rest of the tech industry, and say, "Do you know what, guys? You bunch of bullies, we're doing stuff with AI," because they have announced that their new event called Awe Dropping, which will undoubtedly announce the iPhone 17, is coming on September 9th.
Which is a Tuesday. They always do a Tuesday. So everybody, it's always September. It's always Tuesday.
Well,
Has been for years.
it always has been. I mean, sometimes it's been October, right? But I mean, here's the thing: they've got a lot of ground to make up. Tell me what you've heard about this new iPhone and why it's gonna blow my socks off my pants.
Well, in that regard, I'll just tell you, I don't think it will.
Okay, we're off to a great
I mean,
start.
I don't think it's no, and I don't think it's bad. So I think here's a way to look at Apple is they have become a tried and true company as far as software and hardware. Bugs, say they're across all boards, Android, Samsung, Google, whatever. However, they're tried and true. A 94-year-old grandma is about to get an iPhone 13 because her iPhone 4 from 2010 doesn't work with the Apple Watch 9 that I bought for her, or 8 that I bought for her when I was in Colorado. It no longer communicates. She still uses an iPad 7, I think. But anyway, a 94-year-old woman is using this technology. Tried and true, even with the new things that have come up, slide over that came and went, and iOS 26 is coming out. She's already played around. She's gone to an Apple store in California and played around with iOS 26 just so she can be ready. With that said, to defend my tried and true, they're going to do a few changes. They are going to make a telephoto lens that will actually be a movable lens like you have on a camera, folks. If you think about your camera and you attach, right click or left click or whatever it is. I think it's right click, left click your lens onto this camera body, and then you turn the little plastic or rubber piece, and it'll move the lens in and out, giving you your zoom in and out. They're actually going to put that into a small 5 point whatever millimeter, barely half an inch phone that will move in and out. It will be a true optical zoom, and not and then of course it'll add digital. So that's one thing they're adding. I think that's really cool. It will also be 48 megapixel, which I didn't realize the telephoto was the only thing that was not 48 megapixel. They had just updated the wide angle, but not telephoto. So now all three will be 48 megapixel, which allegedly for AI and other video, now you can swap seamlessly and you will not have any kind of video that will drop in resolution or potential frame rate if you're editing. They're also going to change the body, which was a big to do. That there was a big thing. It was all titanium, and oh my gosh. However, to make something that's going to be more stable and secure, safe, whatever you want to say, strong, that's the word I was looking for, and be able to give this body, they're going to do a complete new aluminum unibody design. So there's actually going to be less glass in the back and more full metal. Uh, this will add with more battery capacity, better optics, as I already said, and they're changing the MagSafe to be potentially higher rate wattage again. So this will be the third update to that, and potentially reverse wireless charging. So you can put somebody else's iPhone, potentially, probably more so like your AirPods. They will also update the front camera from 12 megapixel, which is what I'm using right now, which is pretty good actually, to 24.
I disagree. It looks like shit.
No, well, that sucks. Oh, that's poopy.
I mean, here's the thing. It probably downloads and uploads a lot better than what I'm looking at right now because there's streaming limitations. But
Oh, well, that's true.
yeah.
Well, look at the last episode, okay, and the one before that, Poof Face McGee.
Any surprise announcements that we might see coming? I heard there's an iPhone Air coming, the slimmest one ever.
Not a surprise for us super geeks, but those who do not follow, there's going to be your 17, a 17 like, plus size will be and then your two pros, a 17 Pro and a 17 plus size. The plus size for the 17, they're going to do something that is astronomically weird, but it follows suit with Google and Samsung and other folks. How can we make a phone even thinner? Sorry, everybody. How do you make a phone even thinner and it perform just as well as everything else? And so that is their big, big baby. That's really it. I could say a lot of negatives, which, well, okay, I'm going to. There's only going to be one camera. The battery might not be that strong because it's in a thinner case. There was rumors they were going to use a silicone-based battery, which is used in foldables because foldables have a battery on each side, and they're thin to help with that foldability and keep it to like what we know as a culture as a phone once it's folded. We don't know if that's what they're using or not, or if they're just going to use some other very expensive high grade battery that probably won't last very long.
So we think
I'm
it's going to be
interested.
at least another year before, or maybe 1 year before the next, before the iPhone foldable nonsense.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. 2026, you will see a new foldable. You heard it
Okay.
here, folks. Foldable next year. They're already in production, right? Not in production, but they're already in development, like R&Ding it right now.
God, here's the thing. I dread it in some regards, but if they can execute and make it elegant and perfect,
I think if you look at what was the last fold, the Fold 7 that just came out a month ago, it is super thin. It is very responsive. And for a lot of like high production people or, nitwits who want to be on the internet and on TikTok and on YouTube all at the same time, like those crazies, um, everybody to a fault loved this brand new Fold 7. Was that Samsung, I think?
yeah, it's got to be. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I would love one device that is as thin as my iPhone with the case on, yet
Galaxy.
I can fold it out and have it be like
An iPad mini.
An iPad mini. Like
Yeah.
that
And
would be dope
that was
as hell.
exactly what everybody thought. And it was interesting that iOS 26 came out in those who have smaller iPads. iOS 26 has the same capability, even on the iPad mini. And so they were already playing around with like 2 or 3 stacks or columns on an iPad mini horizontally. And then they got the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and they were like, oh, yes. Is this what iOS 26 might be looking forward to? They're already setting it up.
But here's the thing. OpenAI, now that they've acquired Johnny Ives' design company, they're going to turn around and produce a little amulet that injects dopamine right into your bloodstream, and you won't need an iPhone anymore.
I don't see this working at all. We saw we talked about this in another episode. It was the rabbit and whatever the hell the other thing was.
The rabbit, there was a pendant, there was that
the pendant and the rabbit, those were the 2 big ones.
There was that other one that was a pin that they got acquired by HP. For
I thought the pin was we're totally going off script, everybody. I thought the pin was more like a recording device.
so there's a pin and then there's a pendant. I don't think we talked about
Oh,
the pendant, but we definitely talked about the pin.
your
Anyway,
mom talked about the pin.
it's also a new contraceptive because no one will fuck you
Yeah, it's the new
if you're wearing it.
it's the new it's the new lab coat. You've got the like pen protector in your pocket. This is the new thing. Yeah. This is the Gen A or whatever. And they're like, oh, hey, okay, goober. And they're like putting their hand in front because they've got to see the little like it's shining the little laser beam. They're like, what's this saying again? They're like, get out of my face.
I'm recording everything you do.
Yeah. Or I'm trying to see where our next dinner date is. And you're like, okay, never mind. Stop.
All right. I have heard rumors. I don't know if you want to comment on this at all. That there might be an eye ring or some sort of Apple ring.
It is a huge rumor. So
Okay.
I'm not sure about it. However,
No foundation
there's
in
a
reality, mostly real rumor.
well, so I'll give an example that is current. So Insta 360, who's a Chinese company. So you have DJI and Insta 360. They make a lot of action cameras, 360 cameras. DJI was very well known until recently because of certain US things that happened. They were the most prominent for drones of all shapes and sizes. Tiny, tiny, little, you could put in your pocket to big movie production ones. Um, they're one of Insta360's newest cameras came out not that long ago. And one of the things that and an accessory, if you want to pay even more money, because haha,
Oh, they have
was a
ways to
ring.
upsell you like no other. I got to give them credit.
Gosh, and I would buy this ring in a heartbeat. You you don't have to voice chat to the camera to turn on, which also, by the way, in 2025, I can now say camera record. Like that's awesome. When it's on like a 3 to 6 foot stick out in the middle of nowhere away from me, that's crazy. Or you can do a hand gesture, which has been around for whatever. Or you can do a motion. It has a gyro that if you twist almost like you twist like a bike, a motorcycle, you could twist the stick and it will recognize, oh, you want me to turn on. They now have, again, it's almost like millennials made this. They have a little ring that you can put on and it's got a button. And depending on how you press the button, just like we would on our iPhone, depending on how you press it, light, hard, twice, whatever, it will do certain different things. And again, millennials, they don't want to speak out loud. They just want this thing to happen. Yeah, please make this.
I
However,
mean,
I heard too that like Meta's been looking at this. Like if they made I'm getting really geeky. That's geekoid. Perfect. Like
exactly.
the five rings or the 10 rings. Well, if you made 10 rings, I don't need to like hold this stick anymore. Yeah. I just put all the rings on and it's more VR. And I
I,
think that's what be joking around, but all seriousness, that's what it's getting to. Like if these rings that Apple and I think Facebook is already messing around with as well, if they make this, then that's a step up in the right direction of like actually fluid fingers. I'm showing Eric like, oh, look at me moving my fingers up and down. Oh, brrr."
so
that's great.
here's my take. I'm kind of surprised Apple hasn't done a ring already. Like just so I wear an Aura rings to track my sleep.
It's great.
Gives me all sorts of vitals and yada yada yada. But the one thing that I'm missing from it is like a capacitive touch enablement. Like if I could just be able to scroll and double tap with my phone,
Mhm.
like just using the ring, like that would unlock so much potential for a lot of
Well, and
things.
you add in Apple is very much on their ecosystem. So anything that happens to the iPhone happens to the iPad, to either of the Macs, your regular Macs or your MacBooks. And so then you have your hand on the mouse and you have your other finger on your ring, and I'm moving my thumb up and down like a violin. Oh, poor baby. And
Or something
but
else.
like it's kind of genius And why why aren't we doing this? We don't have investors. That's why, folks.
Yeah, we don't have startup capital, that's for sure. And we don't know anything about making hardware. But that's what AI is for. We should just ask, like, how do we make a capacitive touch ring that connects with all devices? We'd be billionaires.
It would also help, I think, a lot of people who can't speak. Like again, like Apple is very big on their
Accessibility.
accessibility. Yeah. And so it's one step into that, into one frame of that.
Yeah. So
Um,
I mean, here's the thing: they take a while to launch a product. They're probably
they always
trying to
have been.
perfect it, and they're taking their time. So maybe they'll announce a ring. I'm not going to put money on it, but I'm only calling it out because I've heard it, and this is the rumor mill section.
Yeah.
But
They've always had so TSMC, which we will probably talk about here in a little bit, they've had a contract with them for a long time as far as their processors and their chips. They've always had a contract with Samsung as far as their glass and as far as like the displays. They've always had a contract with Sony. If nobody knows this, everybody, big news, like they still can't make everything in-house themselves.
they
They
outsource a
are,
lot.
yeah, they outsource. And it is, God, after the administration thing, it is in the in America and elsewhere. Europe also, by the way. Nobody ever talked about that. They did, I forgot, say they're gonna move from Sony to, and don't hold me, so allegedly,
From
to
Sony or for
Samsung,
Samsung?
from
Which way?
Sony as far as cameras to Samsung cameras. And we'll see more about that as the
Yeah.
weeks go by.
Back to the Apple TSMC connection. I just saw as of a couple hours ago, uh, Apple is apparently buying 50% of all of TSMC's 2 nanometer production runs
It
for the
makes sense.
foreseeable future.
This is
So,
their, so everybody like the A19 and A19 Pro, they'll be coming out this fall. That is their third generation for the 3 nanometer. Now, it's funny, everybody in geek tech industry goes, well, they haven't innovated as far as like what it looks like. I think the iPhone is probably at one of its finest moments. And I think this new one will be maybe one of its finest moments. But
yeah,
where
I don't think the form factor is something that needs innovation on. I
I
think,
that's what I was trying to say. But
okay,
when it comes to their chips, the H1, the C1, and their A and M models of chips, this is somewhere where they are very hot and heavy.
yeah, the hardware is often overlooked, but it's an area that they continue to innovate on, continue to deliver on. And it's an area that their partners continue to innovate and deliver on. Like TSMC is firing on all cylinders, despite the fact that like they have all this pressure from China and are in fear of being invaded. Um, like, like a 2 nanometer production, like we were just talking about 3 nanometer like last year. Like they are improving and improving and improving, like to at a rate at which I did not expect. Like I thought it would be half a decade before we got to 2 nanometer.
No,
But
no, Apple is heavy, hard. And again, I said that this is their third generation for
let me
3 nanometer. This is still a 40% increase from their first generation.
exactly. Here's the difference I want to call out because incrementally over the years it's been 7 nanometer to 5 to 3, but you look at numerically the jump from 7 to 5, quote unquote, 2 nanometers,
20% has been the average.
very different from 3 to 2, which is a 50% reduction in the size, which results in you being able to add a ton more transistors to the same chip size, reducing the energy cost.
Bigger
And
batteries.
well, battery size isn't going to change all that much, I don't think. I mean,
No,
yeah,
but they could. like cameras, other internals can
Yeah.
now have.
You save size, but here's why I don't think they will save as much size, because they're just going to preserve the size of the chip, increase the number of transistors, and just increase the throughput, but save on the amount of power that's required to power the chip.
It's funny you say that because I was just thinking RAM. There's two other things that I forgot to talk about, folks, and that is vapor cooling, because these are getting more efficient, but they are getting more powerful and they are very hot. So they're going to start adding vapor cooling.
So,
Other phones have
real
added
quick, from
this.
a thermodynamic standpoint, as you shrink the die size, move the transistors closer together, run the same amount of voltage through them, it increases the heat much quicker. And so you need to figure out a way to cool the chip faster. And that's where that vapor cooling comes in. So back to you, Jared.
No, that was great. And that's exactly so. And Samsung's already started to do it. I don't know if Google has yet, but Samsung already has in some of their models, not all, some. The Ultras, I believe, they did it a year or two ago. Um, the other thing is going to be RAM, because this is probably the
Car
premier
ramrod.
Damn Ramrod. What a leader. We also need more RAM. And that will also increase, again, what Eric just talked about and what I did, that heat. And the 2 nanometer will help with the increase in RAM, but it will also increase probably twofold in that heat.
I don't think it's going to have as big an impact on the RAM size as it is going to have an impact. No, I take that back. So with the move to AI, like Apple already has their AI chip as part of their
Remember
chiplet.
LLM? LLM is the big to do, and that's the hardest one for the
Yeah.
chips right now.
Yeah, which requires a ton of memory, a ton of compute. So moving to a smaller transistor size is going to free them up to have more AI capabilities on device, which I think Apple will eventually excel at and lead at potentially. But the fact that they don't have their own foundational model that is state of the art puts them at a disadvantage where they have to rely on a Google or an OpenAI. So we'll see how this shakes out in the next 12 months. Like the AI market is moving so quickly. Stuff changes every 2 months. So a year is like a decade.
It's nuts. Yeah,
It's kind
it's
of insane.
crazy. It's we said it in another episode. Blah blah blah. Like it's nuts, man. It's so like there's a repeat. Why are we talking about this constantly every episode? Is because it is so fast. Everybody, the news is in the tech industry is like it's never ever.
It's so fast, so furious.
Oh my god. I love it. I hate you right now. That they're going to do a 2 nanometer chip is bonkers. And believe me, Samsung's already on it. Everybody's on board. However, Apple has basically like first rights. And then
Yeah, 50% of the entire capacity of their output is going to Apple.
yeah.
I mean, here's the thing: it's
So
not going to all just be
your Snapdragons will be a year or two after that.
yeah. But I mean, here's the thing: it's not all going to the iPhone. It's probably going also to the Apple Watch. It's probably going to the AirPods. You're looking at much increased battery life across all Apple devices. And
It will help.
as
I
much
don't
as I'm
know if
considering jumping ship from Apple to Google because of the whole AI thing, I really got to see what Apple does. Sorry, my gun runner partner was messaging me. He's saying we can't afford to be so visible.
God, that is so like, can we maybe change their title to we had a title for this episode and I think it just got changed. Or you put both of them
We running
together.
guns, yo.
Golly, my gun runner partner just said, "Hey, we can't show that."
Are you ready to go to Indie Showcase?
Yes. And do I have any for iOS or Switch?
This
No.
is for Switch.
No, it is. If anybody hasn't done the last
I mean, it's
thing
for
I talked
more than
about.
just Switch, but this is
Turn it down.
I
At
did
least for
turn it
me.
down. I can turn
Okay,
it
good.
down even more. So this is from Gamescom. I wanted to cover more, but I honestly haven't covered it enough personally. So maybe next week we'll talk about Gamescom because there's a lot of announcements. But this is Hollow
We could
Knight
do a
Silksong,
like
a
it's not
special
an
episode.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah. When?
I have a new job. I'm off tomorrow, and then you can just
What
release it
do you
whenever
mean you're off tomorrow? You told me you're working 6 days a week.
That's what it sounds like I am. So I took advantage of it. And you goes, "Do you want to be off tomorrow, or do you want to work?" And I went, "Hell no! Like, let's
All
do
right,
this."
let's do a special episode tomorrow for Gamescom.
Okay, cool.
All right, cool. So we both need to do our homework and watch all the trailers. I know
I'll be off tomorrow.
it's gonna be really difficult and hard homework.
Oh, so hard. Switch 2. Team Cherry. Oh, you turned it way down. All right, so this is commentary. So
You
it's
want me to
black
turn it
and
up?
white, folks. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. As long as we don't copyright. Oh, yeah, I know what this is. Okay. I don't remember. What is. Oh, I didn't play the first one. What is this? So everybody knows.
Well, it's a character. It's a platformer, kind of Metroidvania-esque, I guess. Maybe that's a theme in here.
Side
Scroller. But the main character has a threading needle, and
and their mask is part of that. Like, if you ever did threading.
Yeah, no, I wasn't part of the threading universe.
Is it Mist? Sorry. Mistborn? Is it Mistborn? Are you going to tell me, or are you just going to wait till the end?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What's the name of the game, Eric?
Of what? What game?
Game we're watching! You fucking idiot!
Hollow Knight.
God bless America.
Sorry, I can't hear you over the awesome.
That's cool. I can't hear it at all right now.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a shame. The sound is really, really good. I got to give them credit to the sound design. It sounds amazing.
Well, the art design is crazy good. It's so good. This is, I think this originally came to the Switch 1. And so that was like a big to-do that Hollow Knight was doing a second one in action.
Shit, I stopped the recording instead of stopping
heard that. Well, I heard screaming, so I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I stopped the recording instead of stopping my screen sharing. Riverside, here's a piece of feedback. Don't put the stop button on stop with the stop button. Like, just make it really obvious. This is the second time I've done this. But you heard the screaming. I should probably go help my wife. This has been a great episode. We're going to have a special episode on Gamescom 2025 coming shortly after this one because Jared and I are going to do our homework.
A supplemental. It'll be a supplemental. Yeah. We'll do a supplemental.
An appendicitis episode.
We'll just say it's a Geekoid bonus.
I thought you were about to say Geekoid boner. All right. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gents. I'm Eric.
I'm Jared.
And this is Geekoid. Toodaloos. Motherfuckers.
End of transmission.